music's too loud, let me know so I can turn it down. I want to have some kind of background music going on. Alright, hopefully that's not too loud. Let me know. I feel like music's too loud. Maybe it's just me because I have music playing in my headset. Okay, I'll wait for a couple more people to kind of join in. So you see here, okay, so music's still loud, so I can lower a bit. Okay, so I just kind of lowered it. So let me know if that's just right, because this is background music. It kind of killed the dead space. I promise I'm gonna do a freestyle if I can help it. So I'm kind of feeling the itch. Okay, so waiting a couple more people to trickle in. It is Tuesday on a beautiful rainy day here in Central Texas. Yes, I just kind of gave away where I'm at. I should have said something like Montana or something, but the cat is out of the bag. Now you know where I'm at. But yeah, it rained today, so we cannot hold practice, but this is an alternative so that we get the information that we need to pass on to those that cannot make it or will not be able to make practices later on this week for our upcoming game this Saturday. So we're going against Madrano's team, which we played earlier this season, which we kind of lost. We lost by a point, which we had the lead, and then we end up kind of dropping the ball, literally dropping the ball, and not in the score off a corner kick. And I think the last one was from something that we could have prevented, but that's okay. So this is our kind of like our revenge. I always like a revenge match, but our payback, So we have. I think the rest of the games are with teams that we played before, and we lost to other teams by 1 point, all by 1 point, all by little things that we can make adjustments. So I think because we have some players that would not be able to participate this weekend due to medical injuries, I'll be there not playing. I have a medical injury myself, but I'm not playing on the field. I've been sidelined. If it doesn't rain out, of course. But it's officially 10v10. So remember, that rule was changed. It wasn't made official up until a couple weeks ago on the website. So now it's playing 10v10. We have 12 players with 2 people that cannot play, and I think a person out. We're down 3 people, right? So we do the math. That's what, 10, 11, 12, right? So we're playing 9 with no subs, but the team we're playing, we played them several times this season. We played them in scrimmages, and we played them in the game, in the actual game. So we know what they're capable of. They know what we're capable of, because this is what we're going to discuss. So I know what they're going to do. Coach told me what they did. You know, how they played against us, and they played with 5 defenders. I don't know if it was like they had this 5 here, or it was more. It was more spread out. So I don't know exactly how the formation is, but we had 5 defenders, and we still managed to score on them, which is good. So because we're playing with lesser people and playing in 9v9 formation, we're going to have to compensate for the lack of subs. And how do we do that? Well, we're going to have to play more strictly. We have to be more not more strict, but more disciplined in our positioning. So if we're playing back here, right, we do not have the luxury to kind of go out and do this a lot of times, come back, because we can't afford to get tired, or we can't afford to get tired and try to run back. What happened last game, that kind of killed us last game. We kind of pushed up. So what happened last game, we pushed up, right? Everyone pushed up to the center. And then they had the soccer ball. And it went down this way. They had the players, and they were making a break towards the goal. And then they had to run back, and they had, these guys had to run back, and they was already tired. So they couldn't beat, their strikers or their forwards, whoever or whatever they had it. They couldn't really catch up to them. By the time they got in, it was a bit too late. And that hurt us, because they made a situation where it's like 1-on-1 or 2-on-1 against the goalkeeper, because we are too tired to run back from playing up here. So in the second half, when we're playing without subs, we have to be more disciplined and staying back here to defend the goalkeeper, because we do not have the energy to run back and forth at the beginning of the game. So this is what kind of had this drawn out. So that's what I'm going to cover. So this is what this stands for. So we're playing, this is what, this is 10v10. So we're gonna have to drop someone. I'm gonna have to, I want to keep 4 defenders here. I want to keep 4 defenders, and we'll have a single striker. And then so this extra striker, we'll just implement a striker here, right? So we'll have a striker, we'll have the other striker that was normally here, we'll make them into a left or a right mid. We'll have our center mid, and then we have our rest of the defense, right? So we have our goalie, we have our defenders as 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9. And they'll play 9, so I'm pretty sure they'll be playing 9. They'll probably have 1 up here. But in order for us to keep the edge, right? So they're going to play a lot of defense. We have to be smarter. Remember, this game's about using our soccer IQ, our intellect, as well as our skills and our fundamentals. So what end up hurting us all the time is doing things that we don't practice, that we don't do in practice. That's something that we've been hurting ourselves with, is during the game we start making changes that we'd never practice during the week, and then because we never practice it, we end up losing edge here or there. Another thing, I want to cover out. I'm gonna go over this, but I'm gonna cover exactly what happened in the last game. So this is how we're gonna form up. We're gonna have a 4-3-1 formation, right? So 4 defenders, 3 midfielders, and a striker up here. So we want to keep the center backs here at all times, right? So that's the focus here. So we want to keep these guys here throughout the game. Why? It's because we're trying to preserve our stamina. We're trying to preserve our energy throughout the game. So by keeping these guys back here, not running back and forth, we have next energy in the second half in case that they do end up trying to press and attack. These guys will still be kind of fresh because they haven't been running back and forth. So we can have the left and the right fullback that be applying the pressure, right, against the opposition when they have the ball, either on this side or they're coming from this side. So if they're coming down this alley or this alley, what the fullback should recognize, if the midfielders are not picking out this person, or they're looking at the rainbow, or they're trying to catch butterflies or whatever, they need to pick this person up, or they need to pick this person up coming in through the center field. They're gonna come up and they can apply that pressure and they can defend. Okay, that's the word, defend. And they can try to win the ball here, because you know what happened last time. Last time we tried to win the ball, we overextend. We try to go for the kick, and when that happens, and when we miss and we overextend, that leaves this here all wide open. And they're gonna come down to attack. But here's where we're gonna use our strategy. We can use our brains here, is because we have the center back sticking back here, they're going to drop about here, right? They're going to drop to defend the corners and the inside. So they're going to come in, but we can have the center back here to keep them. And then so when the center back stops them, so they're going to kind of slow them down to defend on the attack. The fullback, they should drop back. They should drop back to kind of reassert their defensive position, right? They're going to draw back and help back, right? Or if it's on this side, it's the same thing. So they're attacking. They're going to push up. They're going to push up to defend and apply pressure. But if this person gets beat, we still have a defender back here. So we're going to have defenders at all time. So we're not going to leave the goalie by himself if that happens, because 4 and 3 are going to be back here no matter what. So 4 be back here to defend 8, or 3 defend 7, and then 3 can kind of help out with 8, especially if they have no one here. But if they have someone coming down here, they can easily reassert their defensive position, and they can also come back to help on the defense. So if that doesn't make sense, let me know. So again, we're gonna have 3, 4 here. We're gonna have 2 here and 5. No, not soccer ball. We can have 5 here. So the goal is that we're gonna have the outside fullbacks, right? Defense. They're gonna the ones are applying the pressure on the alleys, on the outside and the inside. They're gonna come up, apply pressure here and here. And if you're on this side, if the right fullback, apply pressure here and here. So while they're up here applying pressure to whoever has the ball defensively, they're going to stay in this general area where the red circle's at as the last line defense. So that way, if they get through, some reason they get through, they still have to go through decent. So we're not leaving the goalie without any help. Now, the reason why I'm making that a thing is because of what happened in the last game. But also before I move on to that, see, it says also defenders, not just offense. So midfielders, if they're flying through and they break past, you have to draw back and help defend, because you're also defenders. You're not just offensive player. You're playing offense and defense. Middle of the field, you're playing both ways. Okay, they're pretty much the most fit players on the field. So you can be doing this and that a lot, right? So you shouldn't just stand here and just let, you know, the defense try to defend the ball. You know, you got to drop back and help. You know, help defend, cut them off from the inside and keep them on the outside. Get the ball, and you guys can win the ball. So 6, 7, and 8, right? The midfielders, they can defend and try to win the ball so it can push it forward. But if you're a defense, you should defend. Don't try to win the ball by overextending, because if you do that, you can leave this area exposed, right? At that point, by the time they get here, it's too late. Because remember, it's all about speed, right? It's harder to move. It's easier to stop a train that's going like 5 miles per hour than a train that's going 50 miles per hour, right? So we talked about this before earlier during practice, right? So objects that's moving, it's really harder to stop than someone that's just kind of standing there. So keep that in mind. So I'm going to clear all this. And then so this is what happened in the second half last week during the game. So we're playing, I think we're playing 10v10 with one sub. I think we're playing 10v10 with one sub. And then so let's make them, I'm not going to put the defense, I'm just going to put like what happened when they got the ball. So they had players, it's going to get annoying. Okay, so what happened was we were getting tired. They had, okay, you know what? I will put their people out here, right? So they had their defense. This is gonna look ridiculous, but this is what they had, right? So they had all their people, right? And then they had, this is what the sideline looked like for their side. I kid you not. This was their sideline. That was their sideline. They had all these people. So these guys were getting rotated a lot. You know, so they always had someone else fresh and that can, you know, got 100%. When we didn't, we had one person. And oftentimes this person was rotating in this position, one of these position here. And it was tiresome. So by the time the last 10 minutes of the game, they were attacking, they're pressing, right? They're attacking and they're pressing. So when they had the goal kick and it came all the way down here and they got the ball, we were up here. So we were up here, they're all up here for one reason or another. And then this was all open and they came down here. We had no one here. So, and they were fresh. They had all the energy. And then so they had to run. They're coming down here. And then so they're trying to run back. They're trying to drop back. And by that time they got down here, they was too tired to kind of catch up. And then so Ramiro, it left him doing one of these numbers. And they passed off to here. And that's pretty much, you have a 2-1 advantage. So at that point, it was easier for them to score a goal, because at that point you have the advantage over the goalkeeper, right? You have a 2-on-1, 3-on-1. We had no one help. He was able to block a lot of these goals, but a lot of times it could be overwhelming. So at that point he was overwhelmed. You know, he was tired too. And so that's what hurt us, because we're doing a lot of running back and forth. Now, if we stayed back here, right? If we had someone to stay back here, so we kept maybe like the center back and these guys were up here, and these guys stayed back here, and so this person they would break through along with this person. We had people in between them and the goalkeeper, and it would have gave us time. It would give them time to kind of relax, time to kind of react to see what's going on the field. But they weren't there. You know, they were not there. So you see the difference, right? And this is all because, you know, of a lot of factors, but mostly, you know, we were tired. We didn't have any subs. What's this here? And then they took these people out. They took all these guys out. You know what? You guys deserve a break. Let's put in some fresh bodies up in there. And that's what happened. That's what happened throughout the whole game. They kept putting fresh people up here, and that can lay the attack. And that was pretty smart. We would have done the same thing had we had the personnel to do so, but we didn't. But on a good note is that we was able to score, and then we was able to keep, you know, fighting and playing with what we had and who they had. So that's a good thing. Now we can make these adjustments by, again, keeping the center back here at all times, and having the fullback come out to defend and apply pressure. These guys come out and they stay back to defend. So that's what we're going to do. So with that said, because I remember the last time we played this team, it was kind of very similar to that. We had their number 4, or whoever this person was. This person kept coming down here a lot and attacking, and they had someone else here. And I think maybe we had whoever's here was up here. I think they swapped or something. And then so we had us outnumbered here, and this person was able to help defend. Something like that. Either way, you know, we were tired. So if we stick to what this formation here with 2 center backs and then the 2 outside defenders pressuring and defending along with the center midfielders, we should be able to maintain a good solid defense. Also, you know, maintaining our offense. So we let our offense people do their job and score, and our defense, all they gotta do is defend. You know, so if they do their part, offense do their part. We played these guys many times before. They have a weak side. So this is their weak side. So I don't know if you make any changes. I'm pretty sure coach made some adjustments, but something that we'll have to do and figure out during the game. And so the way you do that is we have to communicate. It's important that we recognize the formation, how many defenders we have on here. Now on the defenders, we got to recognize, okay, now where's the shortest players, who's the tallest players. And why does that matter? It matters because again, it's soccer strategy, right? It's science. You have height difference, you have advantages and disadvantages. So on the shorter size, that tells me that if we're attacking from down here, and this is say like the short players on this side, and if we're taking a kick from here, there's a good chance that these defenders are not gonna be able to jump up and, you know, headbutt or get to the ball, because it's going to go over them, because they don't have the height to defender reflect that kick, right? So it's gonna go over, and then the goalie get to it. But we make that kick, we need to follow through, right? We need to follow through, especially on the inside. We follow through, or they're gonna hold the ball, and don't just kind of stop and then kind of like walk back and turn around and just start walking back. You need to start backpedaling. You backpedal, because what's gonna happen? Here's what's gonna happen. The goalkeeper is gonna take their time, depending on the urgency, right? So they're gonna get the ball, they're gonna carry up here, and they're gonna kick it. They're gonna boot it down here to one of the players, or they might throw it in. They're going to look down the field to see where their player is at. They're gonna make a decision, and they're gonna either throw it or kick it. We have to be prepared. We have to be aware of where the ball's going and to get to the ball. So if we're up here, you got to start realizing where's their forwards at, where's their strikers at. Their job is to stay back here. They need to apply the pressure if it comes down to it. But look, we have to get the ball back. These guys got to get the ball back, right? So they're gonna have to fall back and get ready to intercept the ball, because that's what they did to us. Also, it was windy, and remember what happened to us. We have to do the same thing. So I suspect that they can be doing the same thing, and we have to play the game like everyone else play the game, right? So if they're dropping back, if they're dropping down here, we can't just be up here in case the ball falls short, right? And we don't want to pass into coverage. I know it's like more of a football term, but we don't want to throw in the coverage. We want to throw, maybe it's a one-on-one. So if there's like one person here, I would rather have the ball kicked on this side where it's just one-on-one, rather than here where you have possibly two people that drop back, and then you have this person here. So you have to be aware of who's on the field, where our players at. So it's a lot easier to demonstrate in person, right? But hopefully, I hope this gives you more of a visual of things and explaining why I tell you guys to, if you see me pointing, right? I'm not gonna yell. I'll point this way or that way, right? So I want you to make the decision. I want you to kind of look down the field and see who's where. We have Carter and Antonio down here usually, right? If I see that there's no defenders there, if I see there's a spot right here, I'm gonna do that, right? I'm gonna point, and you should be looking. Look at this. You should be looking at this direction, right? You should be looking that direction. If I'm pointing the other way, I'm pointing that way, you should take a look. But maybe my vision, it's horizontal, right? So I'm only seeing horizontally. You're seeing from a different scope, right? So you might be seeing things that I'm not seeing, So a player could be kind of overlapping another, So I might be seeing this when it's actually there's like two here, but he's blocking his other player. So I don't always have the best view of the field, but you have to make those decisions on your own, right? You get the ball for a goal kick, take a second, look down the field, see where a player is at, see where the defender's at. So if there's like, say, is it heavy down here, then I don't want the ball to be kicked down here, because in this area, in case we get tired, because I know there's times where you're tired, you're not able to kick it as far during the game, and that's nothing that I noticed. We start kicking the ball shorter and shorter because we just don't have the energy. And then when that start happening, we had to start thinking of other ways to get the ball down. So maybe pass the ball up and have one of these other defenders, pass the ball up or kick the ball down the field. Again, that's something that we have to observe right then and there. And we got to communicate. We have to talk to each other. So if you want to come up with certain keywords or certain key phrases that the other teams are not familiar with, like if you say something like Masiaga. For us, that's codes that, hey, the left side's open or the right side's open. Something that I've been kind of brainstorming on certain corner kick ideas, right? So if I say something, that's going to tell us, hey, set up this play. So with that said, how good are you following this so far? I know we're doing a lot of talking. I didn't kind of stop. I'm just kind of going through, these things. But you're listening, you're watching. So let me know. What do you need me to repeat or go over, or something that you notice in a certain game that, hey coach, if this happens, how can we go about, correcting this or defending this? Let me know. This is what this session is here for. So ask me questions, I'll give you answers. Okay, this is how we're going to fix this. This is how we're going to tackle this issue. Okay, this is how we're going to go over this obstacle. There's obstacles in every game. So don't be shy. You guys need to speak up. This is our chance to go over these things before we go into the game Saturday. Because come game day, it's too late. And right now, this is being archived. So right now, if you don't get a chance, we can always go back and kind of review this video. So there's about 4 viewers. We have 11 players. 4 people viewing. One of them's myself. So that's cool. But make sure when watching this, you can also comment on the video. So drop a comment if you're watching this after this was streamed live, so I can answer those questions, and I can answer it in the comment section. Hey coach, when we have someone that's aggressive and I'm being double teamed, how can I go about fixing this? I'm like, okay, great question. This is how we can fix that. But this is your moment. So I'm gonna give you a few minutes to kind of think about it. Ask questions. If you're confused about what I talked about just now, let me know. And so while I'm doing that, I'm gonna rearrange my little formation here. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Ask questions. It's better to ask now than later. Yeah, that was frustrating to deal with, seeing all those subs come in. But I got an answer for that too. So I got an answer for that. So I think if it's 9v9, I see no question in the chat. Why we not asking questions? And if you're showing up late, ask away. Ask what we talked about. 6, 7. Okay, so this is my prediction. Let me know if you think I'm gonna be wrong, right? So I know that team. We know this team, right? They're scared of us. They're scared of Sebastian and Vladimir. But you know what? We didn't have Carter there. We didn't have Antonio there. And we've seen what those two can do. You know, those speedsters, you know, on this side. So now they have to worry about Antonio. They have to worry about Carter. They have to worry about Vladimir. They have to worry about Sebastian, Leo, and we have Gearson, right? So they haven't seen us together, you know, played us as a whole team in a long while, especially in a certain formation. So let me see. Jacob, how do I get the ball farther out? Okay, so you're asking about so your question is more of a technique question, correct? Okay, so that is something when it comes to placing the kick, doing a goal kick, all that. That is something that I can tell you how to do it, right? I can tell you placement. I can tell you that it depends. Remember we talked about that one day about you can't take an approach. Do I have a figure? I know I have something nearby. I do. Hold on just a second. Okay, so this is one of my snow troopers, right, for my AT&T Walker. That anyway, so okay, we're gonna use this as a demonstration, right? So when we talked about taking the kick, right? So when you're kicking, right, this ankle, right, locking down, right, and kicking. Say this is the top part of my end. I got a shoe here, and I got a lot of things nearby. So I just has everything on standby. Okay, so this is not a soccer shoe, but when you're kicking the ball, right, we want to use more of the top part of a foot, right, the laces part. But when we're kicking, right, you can't just kick straight down, right, because you're gonna hit that turf, right? And we talked about, you know, so pretend that this guy's foot is straight. I wish I have other figures, but they're not nearby. But you can't just kind of stand straight and place a kick, because you're gonna hit the ground, especially if it's down. You're gonna hit the dirt. So the best way to do that is at an angle. So instead of this, you're gonna have to do it kind of like at an angle and kicking. So now you're kicking, you're not gonna hit the ground, you know, your toes not gonna kick the dirt, right? You have more room for a full swing. And more foot on the ball. And then when you're kicking the ball, I have a ball here too somewhere. I have everything here. So but yeah, when you're placing a kick, right, you want to get a good grounding. You want to get foot placement, right? Good foot placement when you're stepping. Foot placement. You want to get a good a swing, right? And swing, and then with your your ankles locked down, you can place that good kick. And then that's going to give you, some power, good contact with the ball to send the ball flying. But then, and there's other factors that I can't show you with this guy, but also, with your body movement. It's your body positioning, right? So the way your toe is pointed on the planting foot, the way it's pointed is the direction you're going to kick the ball, right? So if I want to kick the ball this way, I'm going to plant my foot that way and then take a swing, right? Because if I have it planted this way, it's going to go this way instead of going that way. So when it comes to form and technique, you have to practice this, something to practice on your own in your backyard during practice. And then remember I showed you about taking practice swings. You get that step and then trying to get a good swing, good feel, right? You want to work on your form. You perfect that form, you can perfect getting a good kick. And from there, you can move on from there. So if you want to get the ball further, it's all about getting that good form, right? So getting that good form out. Does that help answer your question? I can kind of show you more in person, but I think that's the best way I can explain it without any tools or things like that. And I can bust out the FIFA 26 or, what's it called? It's not called FIFA 26, FC 26. And I can play a game, I can kind of show you, I can pause the game, I can rewind, and I can show you through the camera how they do it, because it simulates, if you played FC 26 or any recent soccer game on the PlayStation, Xbox, or PC, there's a feature you can pause and rewind. So that's the best way I can kind of tell you to view it, is to play those games, pause it, go back to replay, and you go in slow motion, and you can watch the player that you're controlling. You can watch in slow motion how he steps into the ball and how he's winding up and how he's kicking. And then so what's so cool about the game is the physics is spot on. And we all know about physics. I explained to you about physics. So in video games, especially like the sports game, it's so realistic because they use actual science and implement the physics in the game. And being a former game developer, right? That's one of the things I appreciate about these games is that when you're playing these soccer games, it's like playing real soccer because you have to play. They place the kicks just like you do in the real world. They're kicking with the same amount of strength. You can curve. You can do all. It's just like in the real game, and you can actually see it. So if you take the time to play, you pause, you rewind, and it's like, man, how do you get that shot off? How do you get the bicycle kick? You can learn a lot just by watching the replay and rewinding. So if you're trying to perfect something, a step over, they even have those moves in the game. All the step overs, all the little tricks and stuff, that's in the game. You have to use a thumbstick to do it, right? But you can go back and you can watch how they do it. You can rewind it. You can play forward, slow motion. And it's like, oh, they're doing this, they're doing this, they're doing this, and whatever. And you can try to do that on your own. That's a cool thing. That's a cool feature that I have in the game. I hope that helps. So if you do have, one of the FIFA games and stuff, I believe that's going to help a lot to understand how a lot of these kicks work and how you get the power, but also and how all this works, right? So in the game, when you're done playing at halftime, it shows you like every position where you're at. So if I was playing with this midfielder, right, it's going to show you that throughout the half he was playing in this area, right? If I was playing with a striker, like with a perfect example with France. France uses a 4-4-1 or 4-3-1, or they use a formation where Mbappe is here, right? So he's a single striker here, right? And then so during the halftime, if you're playing the game, you're gonna see when you highlight this position, you're gonna see that he's been here throughout the whole half. He's here. It's not showing him down here. It's not showing any red over here or any red over here. He is only maintained in this area here because this is where he's supposed to be at. So the game, it teaches you a lot about soccer if you're not familiar. So play the game, try to go into the stats, the performance, go to performance and open that up, and they'll tell you, okay, well, yeah, especially if you're not familiar for a certain position, they'll tell you for this position here, it's going to show you this. This is where they're going to pretty much spend the entire time on the field, on the pitch. For this person, it's going to show you that they play here mostly throughout the whole game. So that's their responsibility. That's their role, right? So that's when I tell you guys that if you're going to play here, you shouldn't be up here or up here, right? This position is going to show you that this is where you should be at, right? Because you get graded. You get graded for your performance in the game. And if the coach tells you that, hey, you need to be playing your spot, you can get dropped. You become a like a sub player or whatever. You won't become a starter because you're not listening to the coach in the game. Anyway, any other questions? Not technique related, but in terms of teams that we played, the physicality. How do I go about getting past a taller player, shorter player, or whatever? But why you think I've questioned this is I know exactly how they're gonna. I think they're gonna play. I think they're gonna play like this. I think they're gonna have a 4-3-1, where this sentiment is gonna kind of like play back some to help the defense. And they're gonna have the midfielders, and they're gonna have like a single striker here. So that's my prediction. That's how I think that he's gonna play against us, because that's how they played against us last time. They had 5 defenders, and they have a weak side. So their weak side, this was their weak side. We kept going this side a lot. So that's why Vladimir, if you're watching, that's why Vladimir was double teamed. You know, he was double teamed by this person here. Let's say that this was Vladimir. He's double teamed by this person and this person all the time. This is their weakest side. So when he came up on this side, you know, that's what they're afraid of, you know, because it looks like their weak side. I don't know if it's like the defensive players or whatever, but during our after game chit chats, you know, he kind of spilled the beans. It's like, yeah, you know, I had 5 defenders against y'all because, you know, it's like we was afraid of this person, that person. That should make you guys feel good. You guys doing a good job. 6-7. Yeah, okay. But listen, when you have another coach, right, trying to beat you, whatever, that's a good thing. You know, they're trying to defend and adding more defenders. That's a good thing. That means we're doing something right, and we're scary. So, when we get into this game, right, when we start off, you have to observe from the get-go. I want you to communicate okay, who's back here? Who do you have back here? How many players do we have back here? How many midfielders do they have? And then once we figure that out, you know, like this, especially we got to tell to everyone else so we can start devising our own strategy. Say, hey, you know, they only got 4 defenders and they got their shortest player here and here. So we can take advantages of their weaknesses because they can take advantage of our weaknesses, right? The game is about our outsmarting the other team, right? Is it only Vladimir who gets double teamed? No, it was Sebastian. I think that has Sebastian. I think it was Sebastian and Vladimir. That's what the coach is telling me. It's like, yeah, you know, we had to make sure that Sebastian was double teamed and Vladimir, because they're the scorer, you know, because he helped coach our first game, so he knows what we're capable of. Sebastian scored 3 goals, and that was against Hawking. Hawking's like the number 1 team in the league, and we scored against them a lot. I think we're the only team that scored the most against that team. So that should tell us something, you know? So he saw that and he's like, man, it's like, you know, we got to stop Sebastian. So he told his team, hey, this is what we got to do. I'm going to have 5 defenders. We need to double team this person and this person, whatever, because they're scared of our players. But now we have Antonio and we have Carter. We have another dual threat on this side that they have to worry about. So they don't have enough people to cover all those players now. We're so bad in soccer. No, we're not bad in soccer. We're not bad in soccer. Don't say that. Real Madrid, he's a loaner. He's on loan for Real Madrid. Or maybe he recently changed. But anyway, don't change the subject. Don't change the subject. Right? So listen, now we have our weapons. We have most of our weapons that we didn't have before in the last game. So they can be overwhelmed and they can have to make a decision whether to give in on this side or this side, right? And then once we figure out where's the weak side, we need to poke a hole. We need to poke a hole in the defense and get the ball rolling. So we'll have up here Vladimir. We have Vladimir here. Sebastian. We have Antonio. We have Carter. We have these 3 up here as our main offensive playmakers. It's not soccer, it's football. You spell football wrong. It's F-U-T-B-O-L. Not American football. Not football americano. Football. Okay, so just to kind of reiterate what we covered for those of you that showed up late, and this will take just like another 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, so we talked about the game plan going for this weekend, right? We're gonna have 4 defenders. 2 defenders stand back at all times, which means that the fullbacks, they're the ones that are going to come up to put the pressure and to defend, right? This area, right? So they come up, they're gonna come up, right? So whether they have someone here or there, if you're up here, you're coming up to defend and pressure. Defend and pressure. And so while this is going on, while they're up here, right, the center back is going to kind of fall back here. And same thing with this side. So if it's the opposite side, it's the same thing. This fullback's going to apply pressure or defend the inside and the outside lanes. So while they are here defending and applying that pressure, they're going to fall back to protect this area. that make sense? So 3 and 4 is not going to move from this area at all. And the reason why, who can remember the reason why? If you're paying attention. If you could put a couple seconds, who remembers why I said that? Okay, no. And the reason why we're gonna keep you defending back the whole time is because during the last game, and for those of you that are tuning in late, it's because we don't have the manpower to have a lot of subs in, because that's how we got beat. The last games, they had 1 million subs. They had 1 million subs that they kept rotating with their offensive players. And then we were doing this. This is what we were doing. All our defense was up here for some reason. The last 10, 15 minutes of the game. We're up here. The ball would get kicked down here. They're running. They're fresh. They have all energy because they haven't played. They're fresh. And these guys, they're all tired. They've been running all game, playing all game. And by the time they don't have the energy to run back, they're kind of jogging back, they're trying to get. They're so tired. They get back here, and it always ended up in a one-on-one situation with a goalkeeper, and they all got burnt. And it took shots and shots and shots on the goal, which put a lot of stress on the goalkeeper. Now, had we stayed back, if these guys stayed back where they should have, these guys would have had this wall here. They had this wall to defend between them and the goalkeeper and the goal. But it wasn't there. There was nobody there. The ball came behind us. We had no one to defend. They're all tired. We could have run back. We ran out of juice. And that's why we're doing what we're doing now, because with using just the fullbacks to apply pressure and to defend, we're gonna have someone back here as defense, just in case that the outside defenders gets blown past. Does that make sense? And the goalkeeper for the game is our ever winning goalkeeper of the year, Ramiro. Best goalkeeper in the league, making all these amazing saves. I wasn't keeping track, but you must have saved at least 18 goals. At least 18 goals. So that's not bad. I don't know who the man 80843 is. Well, we are not going to deviate from this plan. We're not going to make any changes, because right now, if you don't fix what's not broken, okay? We don't fix what's not broken. If there's nothing to be fixed, don't make any changes. The only thing that we're changing is how we're working on the defensive side, because if we're not going up when we're tired, we're not gonna leave the goalkeeper by himself, right? That's what we need to change, is that approach on the defensive side. So again, the center back's gonna stay here throughout most of the game, and the pressure and defense will be done by the fullbacks. They're the ones putting the pressure on the inside and outside lanes. Let me redo my little thing I had. Alright. So they're applying the pressure. And they're going to stay back here in case something happens to the outside defense. So hopefully that makes sense. So without defense, we're giving a disadvantage to our goalkeeper. We put him in a bad position to where it's unfavorable. That means that we're giving the advantage to the opposition, to the other team, where it's like, okay, 1v1. We don't want to give the goalkeeper 1v1 situation. We don't want that. And we got to communicate a lot better. And then so if they stay here, if they're not wandering where they're not supposed to be, we're not going to let them score. They shouldn't score with this defense setup, okay? And they're helping with defense too. So they're not just going to sit around the 6, 7, and 8. They should be jumped back. So if 9 has the ball, right? If 9 has the ball, 8 should be right here. They should be running back to stop. And then 8 should be coming up to help. You see that? And then once we get the ball back, once we got the ball, then 8 takes it up, and then you'll fall back. You'll fall back here. That makes sense? Okay, so we covered that. We covered. What else we covered? Let's see who's paying attention. What else we covered? Okay, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we need to, when we're attacking, right? We need to, to pass the ball a bit more. We have help. Okay, so it's one thing that also nothing wanted to cover. So if this person has the ball, say like Vladimir has the ball, we're not just gonna stand here. We gotta go and help, because this is what's gonna happen. They're gonna get defenders here. They're gonna go back and defend because that's what they're supposed to do, right? They're gonna come back and be like this, right? And so it's gonna be harder. The ball, he's gonna be dribbling forward, right? So it's kind of hard to get the ball out, right? So they should be coming up to help. And they should come up back here, so that this forms the triangle, right? So that way they can turn around, they can pass the ball back, and then they're gonna go and try to apply pressure this way, and we can pass the ball up. They're gonna go up. It creates space. So by passing the ball around creates what? It creates space, and when you create space, it makes the defense tired, right? Creating space also creates opportunity to score, right? So we got this spaced out, and then we're taking this in. We're taking it in. They're coming here, and they're gonna come and help all the defense. They're gonna come in. You should look up. You should pay attention. They're probably coming. Many times I saw this, where this person and this side is wide open, and you could just cross it over here. That's what happens. So you have to pay attention while you're in this chaos. Yeah, so it's gonna be a lot of screaming. It's a lot going on, but you have to be able to kind of like to look up real quick and try to see what's going on, see what's open, or listen, say, hey, they'll tell you that, hey, 6 is open. Pass it to 6, cross it to 6. Listen to your teammates. Communicate. So we'd be more communicating. We'd be more successful at getting the ball to players that are open and that can drive the ball in and possibly, take a shot at the goal, right? Create more plays. But other than that, that's pretty much all I have for today, right? I just want to go over the game plan for Saturday. What happened, during the game last week or last weekend, or was it last weekend or the weekend before? Because we had the game moved. So game time. Everyone knows. Remember the game times for Saturday. And if you don't know the time, is on the schedule. It's on the email that I sent out to all your parents. How are we getting to the game? Your parents can take you to the game. It's at Heritage Park. You get to the game the same way we always get to the game. Okay, any last minute questions? Anything you want me to cover or when we go over? You're my parent? And Tony, you know how we get into the game. Okay, so I had scheduled practice for today, tomorrow, and Thursday. So if it doesn't rain tomorrow, we will have practice same time at Heritage Park. Hopefully it doesn't rain. So we can go over this here. So I want to go over a couple in-game scenarios. We can try to work on this here. We can have the defenders. We'll have offensive players acting as the other team. And we're gonna practice this. We're gonna practice defending, right? Defending from both sides, and then in defense, depending on where this at, so up here we're gonna kind of cover the gaps. We're gonna cover the gaps. Let me see if I can do a better job at illustrating this. Somehow fly got into the house and it's so irritating. So if this person here, you see this angle, you want to cut this angle off. So you're not going to be here. He's probably right here. See that? The line of sight, probably drop back here. And so we'll cover that in practice, right? So if they're over here, this person can be here, line of sight. We want to kind of cover that. So they're gonna kind of do this number here. They're gonna cover this here. They're not gonna drop all the way back here or here. We want to kind of break the line of sight. You know what line of sight is, right? Line of sight is an object and another object. So let me see. I may need other cool toys around here. I use this box here. So this is the line of sight. You can see, say this is the goal here, right? And then you have him here. So by placing an object in between, blocking the line of sight, he cannot, take a straight shot. That's what I mean by line of sight, right? That's what I mean by here, a line of sight. So they're here. We should be defending here, right? We're applying the pressure, push him towards the outside. His line of sight is going this way, right? So this line, we should be kind of blocking, forming a wall, invisible wall, like right there. Right there. So that's the invisible wall that they should be kind of forming back here. Not up here, back here. Because we don't want to leave this area, we don't want to leave this area exposed because they can have someone down here that they can pass to. We want to avoid that. That's why we're sticking back here. We apply pressure with the outside defenders, right? And then once the danger is cleared, then we just go back. And that's what we're covering practice to home. Anyone wants to see a cool trick play that I saw? I want to try this trick play out. Who wants to see real quick? It's a corner kick. It's a corner kick play. Who wants to see it? Right keys, right whatever, right number 1, right number 2. Do something in the chat or in the comment section. I'm not down. Antonio, you think you're a clown? Wait until this is over. I got something for you. Okay, so we're gonna have a corner kick. So we have a corner kick here, right? We're gonna have one of our strikers and other striker here. We can have someone here. We can have someone here. Trying to remember. Yeah, we have someone here. They can be in someone. We're gonna push up. Remember, so we have defense push up. We'll keep 4. I might have maybe 1 defender in the box. Something like this, right? Because it's 9v9. So we want to keep defenders up here. So this is how it's gonna work. So we're gonna, instead of kicking the ball in here, we're gonna kick the ball here to this guy. They're gonna come up here. They're gonna run up here. They're gonna dribble up. This person is gonna come this way. So as soon as this ball is passed, while this ball is passing, while it's going towards number 9, 7's gonna go towards like he's gonna take the ball. We're gonna fake out this person here. And so while they're gonna do this, they can do one of these numbers. So you can start here. While it's gonna be passed to here, they can take it up. They're gonna go up here. They're gonna go up here. Actually, I think we're gonna have someone back up here. And then they're gonna come up here. They're gonna think that's gonna be passed to this person. So they're gonna think one of these 3, right? They're gonna pass it to this person, and they can make it look like they're gonna take a kick here, but they're gonna pass it. The person, they should be wide open, and they pass it here, and then take a shot at the goal. Now I have the animation for this. I can't load it up right now because I'm using it right now, so I'm gonna load up the animation and I'll upload it in the GroupMe chat to show you how it looks like. I think I have a video of it saved, so maybe the video make more sense. I'll find, if I have it saved, I'll show it to you instead of doing the animation, because it makes more sense seeing it. They explain it. So this is something, if we have the lead, I want to try this out on a corner kick. And if we have the ball on a corner kick, we're gonna call this Masiaga. Okay, we're gonna call it Masiaga. Okay, so when you hear Masiaga, that means it's time for the trick, corner kick trick, or what you want to call it. All right. Okay, so that's all I have for you. If you have anything for me, let me know. Antonio, why are you posting this little loading thing? But anyway, yeah, we'll go over this in person in practice. and then we'll work on some other things. But I think this game is a lock. It's a lock for us. Yeah, we had this game last time, and then there's a couple of things, we kind of gave up on a certain plays. That's not gonna happen this time around. And we have other players that weren't there. And then we go against Sparks. Sparks, another game that we should win, because I know their teams or whatever, like, and the rest of the games, they're all like revenge games, or games that we played that we should have won, that we lost by 1 point. So keep that in mind. So we're going against team that we almost beat. We lost by 1 point. These other teams. Oh, Juan. I think Juan's out for 10 days. It's what I was told, or a week, whatever it is. But we're not going to focus about that. We're going to focus on the personnel that we have, and as long as we stick to this structure and the game plan, it doesn't matter where we have, as long as everyone does their job, right? So if you do your job, and you do your job, and this person does their job, and this person does their job, and everyone else do their part, we're gonna be just fine. Okay? Everyone does their part, and we'll be just fine, because we're a team, right? It's not just a one-man show. Everyone has to put in their weight. Everyone has to put in 100%. But other than that, I think that's it. This stream will be archived. So for those of you that came late and that want to watch the beginning, it will be archived. It would save. It's gonna save and it's gonna archive. You can rewind it and you can watch from the beginning in case you miss anything. Okay, all right, fellas, that's it. Thanks for watching this online chat / practice session, if you will. And I'll see you guys later this week. Peace. Listen to the cool vibes.